Uh, what's happening now? Hey, there we go. Well, I don't know why there would have been issues. Okay. Alright. That, I still have nothing on this other screen, so. It's fixed now. Thanks for letting me know that, but YouTube didn't want you to. It didn't want you to be able to comment. Apparently, I don't. How's the audio? Is it way too loud? Probably is. Okay, I have it at max volume, and I'm gonna get rid of this extra gain and see how it does. Let's just launch. Alright, we're gonna. I just need something to go over here so we can actually see what's happening. Put our chat over here. Why not? Oh, well, apparently our. What is this even? It's not. It's not a full engine. I don't know. I'm experimenting with Stride, which is a more obscure thing, but huh. Well, that might just be the stream delay. I don't. Oh, why it put me back on top chat? That's weird. Oh, it's your internet. Okay. Nah, you're good. You're good. I think. Yeah, it's supposed to be able to display in 1080p. Oh, it is. It looks a little strange. I'm gonna be honest. Like it looks way too sharp. Like I don't know what. Anyways, um, all right. So I'm just gonna get some water, and then we'll start on the game. Okay. Be back in a second. Yeah. All right, now we're good to go. Yeah, gotta stay hydrated. Oh, for sure. Uh, hey, thanks for stopping in, Jasper. Okay, so today I'm starting in this new thing. I don't even fully know what this is. It's called Stride. You know, it's for making games. It's not a full engine, I don't think. Like, it's just like a toolkit, basically. Um, but yeah, this is the first time I've ever used this. We're building a game from scratch in a software that I know nothing about. I think it is a game engine. I think because Stride when I Google doesn't know what I'm talking. Yeah, okay, so it is a game engine. Um, Google will help us here. Google will save us. So Stride is free open source 2D and 3D cross-platform game engine developed by Silicon Studio. Yeah, yeah. So it's interesting that it's cross-platform. I would actually the game that I'm working on, I think would be really fun in VR. I think I'd have to redesign it for VR, and I don't have a headset, so I can't really test it in VR. But I think it would be probably fun in VR. Well, anyways, today I'm gonna say that probably what's gonna happen for the first, like, I don't know how long we're streaming, but I should talk a little quieter because that's how I set up the mic, to be able to talk a little quieter and better for your voice, you know. But yeah, so it is an engine. I don't know why I was saying it wasn't an engine. So it doesn't have some of the features that some of the other ones are, which is why I might end up switching over to. I'm just gonna say new game. Platform agnostic game library. Yeah, a library. That's kind of the term, game library. That maybe that's the word I was looking for. I don't really know, but we're just gonna create a blank game. Platforms. We're gonna develop this for PC. Wait, so we could We could say, yeah, we want to. Ooh. Wait, my PC doesn't meet the requirements to build for Android? That's confusing, but okay. We're just going to say just Windows. That's probably the simplest thing. I can't choose not to develop for Windows. That's interesting. Um, Anyways. I wasn't really that worried about platforms. I was probably just planning on doing this for PC. Now, this would probably work for VR if I redesigned some things. It definitely wouldn't work for Android. Let's see, rendering. So yeah, we're making a space game. It says it in the title. It's just a really simple mission. You gotta control your craft. You gotta find lost people in space, and you gotta not die, because that's an option. That's always a good feature in video games. Death. Okay. I'm not going to start with any of the asset packs. But yeah, so since this is the first time I've ever used this, more than likely today is going to be spent watching a bunch of tutorials. We're going to figure out how to use this engine. I'm also like somewhat tempted to do some stuff in Unreal. There's a game jam in 2 months, I think. A little under 2 months now. It was like 7 weeks, I think it is, that I want to do. And I am somewhat tempted to just do that in Unreal. Although if I'm really feeling comfortable with this engine, I might stick with this. But there is this toolkit that Unreal and Google put out. Not toolkit. They partnered with Google earlier this year. They put out like all of the Google Maps data in like a game file. I don't know. I would love to do something with that. Just have real locations in your game. It doesn't look that good if you're close up though. Unless we're going for that type of an aesthetic. It's all melty. So it looks like our default player, interestingly enough, is a sphere. This feels like more than I wanted to start with. It looks more like Blender than an engine. Like, this is what I'm. I guess there's similarities there. But hey, it looks like the lighting engine I actually kind of like. I mean, look at that reflection's pretty nice. Um, with a little bit of bloom. The rotation. Hey, that's not bad. Alright. Is this supposed to be the sphere? Great. Great. That, amazing. It just says sphere. I don't know what else I would have expected. Uh, let's put a limiter on here. Ball. Yes. Maybe that, yeah, just. It could have just as easily been labeled ball instead of sphere. I'm gonna put a limiter on here just so we can, so it doesn't peak. Let's see. Ah! Ah! Uh! That sounds so dumb. But I just had to make sure that it wasn't about to peak on me. Okay. Great. So there are some I think there are some tutorials in here. What happens if we press play? Can we are we already able to move this? Okay, nothing changed. I'm still this floating camera. What was the point of that? Okay. Great. And it has been a long time since I've worked in any engine. It coming fresh into this one. I have heard one of the. Oh, I did not mean to click that. I did hear one of the problems with this was that the documentation is really limited, which is a bit annoying. But if we're willing to figure stuff out for ourselves, it might still be an interesting thing. Also, there was a little tutorial series. I keep losing my tabs. What is up with the? Where'd it go? I just opened the documentation and then it immediately went away. Oh, why is this still my default? Wow, I cannot believe I forgot to set Chrome as my default. Yeah, we're on a new SSD right now, so everything is fully reset. Um, my files were transferred over. I can't words. What? What happened? I have no idea. Oh, wow. I need new glasses. It's giving me a bit of a headache, but that's normal at this point. Ugh. All right. So, I can't. So the game links to a bad link. Not the engine links to a bad link. Cool. Manual. Discover how to build objects, and complete tasks in Stride with our manual related. So they do have tutorials on here. This is a yeah. I get why people are saying this is a very limited documentation, but hey, there are some tutorials. C sharp beginners. Game Studio. The Stride engine comes with an editor called Game Studio, which. Okay, so I'm in that now. I guess I'm more on the beginner side. I have used C Sharp for quite a few projects, but it has been a little while. But maybe we just want to be in Game Studio? I have no idea. The launcher? Yeah, I don't think we need to be that detailed yet. Alright, so we'll go to the C Sharp. How to create entities and how to add components to them. I just need to like move my player or something. Hello world. Yeah, no, for sure. Basically, that's what we need to do. Man, these seem a little scattered. Okay, so getting entities, child entities, transform position, editor properties, components. Delta time? Why do we need a tutorial for this? What? Uh, okay. If you say so. These tutorials are not quite what I was expecting. Well, maybe these are? We could do raycasting. Yeah. Before we got a player, let's just raycast. That's the solution to all of our problems. Yeah, I wonder if you could probably make a game purely out of raycasting and you just like have a completely not a stationary player. They just gotta click. I guess that's how a lot of VR games are set up. To go someplace you gotta click on it or whatever. I really thought I was gonna do these tutorials, but this is not quite what I was expecting. Let's just 17 minutes. Mm, Chat GPT best tutorial ever. Yeah, something like that. I I guess I'll bring the audio in for you guys. I might as well. Who knows if they have copyrighted songs on here or something, but why would but they're already the video is already on YouTube. So you think they wouldn't do that? Let's just ask ChatGPT how to make a character in this engine. Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. Um, let's see. Audio input capture. Let's just add this real quick. Application. We'll add. We had Chrome in the other scene, so we'll just do that. Oh, this is Explorer. That's cursed. Oh, oh no. I don't want that. Why am I in Chrome? Why is or not? Sorry, not Chrome. Why am I in not Chrome? Let me let me get over back over here to YouTube. I feel like if it gave me answers, it would have to be for one of the larger engines. Like I would be getting answers for Unity or Unreal. Borrow code? Yeah. Hey, uh let's just see. What do we got new? So this is just new project. So we got the solution explorer. We got our assets here. Oh, here's our asset view. Okay, this makes more sense. We got our skybox texture. Can we just turn this off? What happens if we turn this off? Can we do that? How do we do that? We can change the size. What if we make it like really small? Nothing happened. Okay. What about? Wait, we're not. Wait, what? It is changing the light levels on this. That's just not what I expected to be changed. Oh wait, is this the skybox? Okay. Well, okay. In this one, we can change the size of this sphere. Oh, can we? Why are these? I don't. Wait, these are different things. That's smart. I really need new glasses. What is this? Material? Material? Oh, so it's highlighting the material. So these are editing the materials. This is the actual model. So we should be able to scale that, right? Game settings, graphic. Yeah, I feel like there's already a lot to set up. This doesn't feel like as empty of a project as I wanted it to be. But okay, point 0.5. We'll remember that it was point 0.5. What if we Whoa, where'd it go? Oh, there we go. Hey, now it's that's a lot larger. Okay. That's sort of what I expected it to do. Um, material. So what? So this is switch. Okay, there we go. That's a quick way to switch back over to the material. At least it moves in a way that I normal way. Ooh, kind of normal. It feels a little different, but diffuse map. So what if we want to change this to a different diffuse map? It's gonna change the color on us. Ooh, there we go. Nice purple. Why, that is so bright. That is way too bright. Does ChatGPT know Stride? I would imagine it would attempt to answer questions about this engine, but I really have a feeling that it would probably give me answers for like Unreal or Unity, you know? Like one of the one of the slightly larger engines. That's my guess. Well, knowing ChatGPT though, it would literally give me the answer. It would say blah 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 Stride, and then it would give me the answer for a different different one. So cool. We changed the color of this thing. So code, basic camera controller. That I guess is interesting. We got our camera controller. Okay. Um Can we? How do we pop this out? Can we do that? Yeah, we can. So that's interesting. Because, like, everything is basically built, right? There's no, like, I guess, like, there's no, like, unmanipulated stuff. It's like the blank project. All of this stuff is just built here, which I think is really interesting. Let's get this over here. So what happens if I change the speed factor? That's the first one I saw. If I go 50F, is it just save? Like, is this gonna compile on its own? Okay, that's pretty quick, but I guess that seems faster. I don't really know if it is. I don't think anything happened. But hey, I guess. Ew. Purple ball, yep. We figured out how to change the color very successfully. So can I just. Ooh. I like that. Ooh, nice. That I like. So we can manipulate this pretty quickly here. I know that like this is sort of built to be opened up in Visual Studio, which we'll get to eventually. But I'm just trying to figure out what's going on here. Let's just see what I guess we can see what functions we got in here. Update transform. Interesting. Let's maybe not mess with the camera. I want to keep that working maybe. Maybe just for a little while. My game window. My game dot windows. Okay, interesting. What? I'm sorry. Can we close this? There we go. Yeah, purple ball. Um. All right. Let's just see what else we got. So that's pretty simple. Assets and code are really separated right here. No assets. I don't know why. So my game.windows. So I think it gives you separate folders because you're supposed to be able to develop cross-platform. But since I'm not doing that, I would imagine this probably doesn't matter. Okay. Let's see if we could do something with the light. Can we move this? That didn't seem to change anything. I guess the light we're getting on the ball is probably the skybox light, but why would that be separate from this? Actually, I'm not sure. I don't know. Don't quite know what's going on there. Let's just try this tutorial. I'm probably gonna skip through this. I don't know if I want to watch the whole thing. It's kind of a drag tutorial. But it is made by, like, I think the actual people. So, you would think they would know how to use their own stuff that they made. Maybe. I don't know if it was me. Maybe that wouldn't be the case. Alright, let's just see. Yeah, I think the C# beginner is probably fine, but we'll just skip around it a little bit more.
Of the C# beginner video series for the Stride game engine. In this tutorial, we will learn how to set up the C# beginner template. We will learn about the type.
My keyboard just went out.
To the entities in our game. We learn a little bit about
I guess YouTube doesn't want us using this engine.
To a console, and we learn how to set.
Did Unity bribe them? Did Unity bribe YouTube? What's happening? My keyboard has been having some issues, but not, going out like this. Actually, all of my USBs have been having a little bit of an issue. But there we go. Now it's good.
Right. These video tutorials cover the absolute basics that you need to know when you're starting out.
Opera browser would be pretty useful for this, actually. You pop it out.
Engine.
Sticky keys? No, my whole keyboard was fully on.
An introduction to
That's where the sound was from.
Programming language or the concepts within object-oriented programming. So if you're not familiar with terminology like methods, classes, and inheritance, then I do recommend you learn a little bit about these topics.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was like, I thought I had hit like
tag along.
Not F1. Whatever the button is for inspect element. I was like, why am I seeing all this extra information? Yeah, I guess we'll skip to script creation.
Now let's start creating our first script. In the bottom left here, you can see the solution.
Did I lose my keyboard again? I keep meaning to adjust my headphones.
Select that code folder right now. Let's add a subfolder.
And then when I do,
clicking the right
I lose my keyboard.
Let's create a folder. We're gonna just
training montage. Yeah, let's go.
Asset view. Notice how there's nothing there yet, and we're gonna start adding.
Hey,
scripts there.
Let's be real.
We're gonna click on the. Add
That's most of like
button,
programming and whatever.
And then we're gonna go to the script tab.
It doesn't matter who it is.
And every single.
I promise you, this is a C# engine. Who created C#? Who created C? Seriously? Wow. Apparently not YouTube. YouTube must really hate C#. Or whatever company made my keyboard really hates C#. Who created C#? Anders Healsberg? I'm gonna guess it's Healsberg. This dude from 2000 probably still has to look tutorials up in their own language. This guy, if he's still coding in C#, Probably is, I would imagine. Had to look up tutorials while they were making the language, and probably tutorials about their own language once it was made. That's just how things work. You just Google it. Although I guess at some point you're looking at your own documentation and not like someone else's stuff. That's the real that's the real step into expert mode, is when instead of looking at other people's tutorials, you're looking at the ones that you made. What did you do to, what?
Hi, and welcome to this introduction video tutorial of... Now let's start creating our first script.
Alright.
In the bottom left here, you can see the solution that is actually our game. And if we select that code folder right now, let's add a subfolder there by clicking the right mouse button on it. Let's create a folder. We're gonna just type tutorial. And then in the asset view, notice how there's nothing there yet. And we're gonna start adding our scripts there. So we're gonna click on the
I'm just gonna give it a
Add
generic
Asset
name
button,
at this point.
and then we're gonna go to this script tab. And every single project that we create with
What do you do?
the...
Oh, add asset? Okay, I already saw this. I think a startup script is probably all we need, because that'll be our
Stride
main.
game engine, or with Stride Game Studio. It comes with a bunch of example scripts, as well as a couple of very useful scripts like animation blending or scene streaming. And for this tutorial, we're only going to focus on the top 3 scripts that you see here, because every script that we want to attach to an entity and we want to
I guess I probably
create
want
game logic in it,
the,
we have 3 kinds of options
Okay,
there.
I'm gonna start
There is
downloading
the
a parent browser.
asynchronous script,
Because that
which
actually,
is a script that
the
is
little pop-up
implemented
pop-out
as a
feature.
single task, and you can perform async operations with
then I'd have
it,
to
or
get
the
another ad block.
typical await operations on it. So this is very useful.
Nah,
for
that's
if
too much
you're-
setup.
if you want to create a task that you want to await its functionality on, like saying awaiting until there is a certain collision trigger.
Okay, I'm
or
pretty
if you
sure we
want to
need a
retrieve
startup
data
script.
from a web API, which can take several
will be our main.
milliseconds or even up to several seconds. For the C# beginners course, we
Can't
will not
use
go
script
into
until you
detail
save it.
about
That's
the
interesting.
async script.
What happened to our
We will
folder?
leave that to the
Oh,
intermediate
did I create this in the wrong?
C# tutorial.
Oh no. Hold
What
up.
we will
Can I
be using
drag
a
and
lot
drop
during
this?
this beginner's course is the synchronous or sync script.
Oh, it wants me.
So let's
Oh,
create
it's not
a
responding.
sync script first.
Great, I broke it.
I'm gonna
Wait,
call
he
this
created it. Why is a sync script? What's
Go
going on?
into detail
I should pay attention more to the tutorial if I'm gonna be
until
watching
there
it.
is a certain collision. Hi, and welcome to this introduction. Now let's start creating our first script. In the bottom left here, you can see the solution that is actually our game. And if we select that code folder button, script, bunch of blending or scene 3 scripts that you see here, because every script that we want
Okay,
to
can I delete
attach
this?
to an entity and we want to create game
is it not-
logic in it, well, we can
Oh,
have
no.
3 kinds of option there. There is the asynchronous script,
Oh,
which
I
is a
think
script that is
I think what's going on is there's a pop-up someplace that's expecting me to click on it. No? What is happening? It's like, it's just not doing anything. This is great. So I just realized a little bit of it's on the other screen, so that's not good, but... Should I just... Maybe just try and open this. I'm just closing this real quick. What is going on? Also, in the launcher, my project is not showing up. So did I not save that project? Because that's not good. What? Oh, come on. The whole thing's closed and this still is stuck right here? What is happening? Oh, incredible. You know, some things here kind of just pushing me. So the game launcher, despite me closing it, is still running. So I'm going to force close that. There we go. Also, I don't know where. I guess I didn't create a project, which is confusing because it's just not showing up. Yeah, you're the only person watching. I haven't streamed in months, and this is a new thing, anyways. So, well, welcome in, anyways. We're just gonna work on this game. I think I might just switch. I'm tempted to do Unreal as well, but I want to give this more of a shot than what I've given it so far. Creating my game 2.windows, so it did create another project. Then why couldn't I see my other project? Where'd it go? Where's my other project? Okay, all we did was make it purple. We can make the we can make the ball purple again. Why did it go to the other screen? Sometimes I feel like my computer is trolling me. It's because it is. Why does it do this? I just don't understand what is happening. But where are you saving this? I have no idea. If I open, are you gonna show me my other? No, that's not. Oh, there we go. Okay, well, uh, I don't know if in this case it's broken or it's just me like messing around, but we've had some difficulties this stream for sure. Is this it? Is that the project? If we see a purple, then it is. I'm hoping these aren't errors. I'm sorry, what? Operation failed? Oh wait, never mind. I was like why would you not be able to open a project that literally has one change in it? What is going on? No, it's fine though. We're looking good. So we're gonna create a folder here. We're just gonna call it scripts. We could rename it something more helpful later. And then right in here, if we add an asset, and apparently we're adding a sync script. I don't know why. Why would we not make a startup script? But I guess we'll trust the tutorial guy. I shouldn't have clicked that. What? Oh wait, output's just in the way. I'm sorry, what? There's the asset view. I don't know why output would cover the asset view. Doesn't seem particularly helpful, but we'll go with it. Here's our code. It's a little scuffed so far, but hey, we have technically made progress. We have a script.
Implemented as a single task, and you can perform async operations with it.
Cool.
The typical await operations.
Like a cinematic would be a good
This
async
is very
script.
useful for if you want to create a task that you want await its functionality on, like saying awaiting until there is a certain collision trigger, or if you want to retrieve data from a web API, which
Cool.
can take several milliseconds or even up to several seconds. For the C# beginners course, we will not go into detail about the async script. We will leave that to the intermediate C# tutorials.
Okay.
What we will be using a lot during this beginners course is the synchronous or sync script.
I'm gonna be real with you.
So
I have way more trouble paying attention to tutorials that are slower, which it feels a little counterintuitive, but
let's create a sync script first. I'm going to call this demo synced script.
okay, we don't want it to be called.
And as
We
you
gotta
can see, it's
rename
being
this.
created inside the asset view. And I'm going to directly add another script, which is called the startup script, which looks a lot like...
But, hey, you're doing both? Oh. I didn't know we're going crazy here. 2 scripts? How could you fail? What? If I try this again, are you gonna work this time? Or is it just gonna be... Oh wait, the name might be the issue. There we go. Now you're doing fine. See? We got our 2 scripts here.
like the sync script, but it's even smaller. It's got even less functionality. And we'll see about that in a second. So let's create that. Start demo script. And once that has been created, let's open it in the code editor of Stride Game Studio by double clicking on it. And as you can see, it's being opened in
I'm gonna skip ahead till he's actually doing something.
Start C#. But just
I did watch Head on this
add
tutorial a little bit.
an
He does talk about,
entity that is in our scene. And this could be any kind of entity.
you know, you actually this is
Especially
really
for
built
the
to
sake of
work
this
with VS.
tutorial, it doesn't really matter. So
Visual
I'm just gonna
Studio.
select
VS
the main
Studio?
camera that's been placed
Thinking of
at
VS
the
Code,
top
but what is VS
corner
Code
of the-
for?
Of our little structure here. If we click on Add Component in the
That is
property
that
grid
is Visual
of our
Studio. It's the
select
same
camera,
thing. I'm crazy.
and we type in
Oh.
the name of either one of our scripts, notice how we get that script up appearing here in the list of components. So let's add demo sync script and as well as the start script that we've made. And now they're being attached to this entity. And this is a really important concept for the Stride game engine. The Stride game engine is a component-based game engine. You don't have to use this if you don't want to, but this is pretty much the philosophy of this game engine. You
So,
have
what did you just connect it to?
and demo sync script and the list of camera. Click on
Oh, so we're doing
Add
stuff with the
Component
camera,
in the
okay.
property grid of our selected camera, and we type in the name of either one of our scripts. Notice how we get that script up appearing here in the list of components. So let's add demo
don't.
sync script and as well as the start script that we've made. And now they're being attached to this entity. And this is
Is
a
it
really
case
important
sensitive?
concept for the Stride game engine. The Stride game engine is a component-based game engine. You don't have to use this if you don't want to, but this is pretty much the philosophy of this game engine. You have entities in your scene and you attach one or more
Why did that not show up? Hold up.
components to a single entity. Now they're being attached
Yeah,
to
yeah,
this
you're attaching a
entity.
script
And
to
this
an
is a
object.
really important concept for the Stride game engine. The Stride game engine is a component-based game engine. You don't have to use this if you don't want to, but this is pretty much the philosophy of this game engine. You have entities in your scene and you attach one or more components to a single entity to get it to behave in a certain way. Now let's have a look at that start demo. This prediction game attached to this script. Notice how we get that script up appearing here in the list of components. So let's add demo sync in the name of either one of our scripts. Notice how we get that script up appearing here in the...
So, what's the reason why I'm not seeing that? Solution my game. solution. Code. Tutorial. Maybe these need to be saved. Where'd the editor go? What did I just do? Oh, I'm just closing stuff. Okay, that's fine. Scripts aren't even here. Animation, audio, lights, miscellaneous, model, navigation. And I already messed this up. What is happening? Everything is just melting in this stream.
List of components. So let's, and for this, we're gonna just type tutorial, and then in the asset view, notice how there's nothing there yet. And we're gonna start adding our scripts there. So we're gonna click on the Add Asset button, and then we're gonna go to this Script tab, and every single project that we create with the Stride Game Engine or with Stride Game Studio,
why would it not let me
comes with a
delete
bunch
this?
of example scripts, as well as a couple of very useful scripts like animation blending or scene streaming. And for this tutorial, we're only going to focus on the top 3 scripts that you see here, because every script that we want to
We'll just name the
attach
startup
to
2,
an
because the other one
entity
hasn't
and we want
disappeared
to
yet.
create game logic in it. Well, we can have 3
Oh, well,
kinds
that
of
updated
options
it.
there.
Okay.
There is the asynchronous script,
Now you're going to show
which
up.
is a script that is implemented as a single task, and you can perform async operations with it, or the typical await operations on it. So this is very useful for if you
Tutorial
want to
game.
create a task that you want to await its functionality on, like
Maybe I need to
saying
save and then
awaiting
it'll show up?
until there is a certain collision trigger, or if you want to retrieve data from a web API, which can take several milliseconds or even up to several seconds. For the C# beginners course, we will not go into detail about the async script. We will leave that to the intermediate C# tutorial.
Hello, how's it going?
What we will be using a lot
I-
during
I-
this
a
beginner's
little late
course
on
is
seeing
the
your chat,
synchronous or
'cause I'm
sync
trying to
script.
Figure this
So
out,
let's
but
create a sync script first. I'm going to call this demo synced script, and as you can see, it's being created inside the asset view. And I'm going to directly add another script, which is called the startup script, which looks a lot like the sync script, but it's even smaller. It's got even less functionality, and we'll see about that in a second. So let's create that. Start demo script. And once that has been created, let's
Namespace is
open
normal.
it in the code editor of Stride Game Studio by double clicking on it. And as you can see, it's being opened inside Game Studio
Where did it-
itself. It's not opened in an external IDE. Now we can start coding right here if we wanted to, but for the entire series of the C# beginners course, we will be using Visual Studio as our main IDE.
okay, where is the editor
But
hiding?
just in case you don't want
Where
to,
did it
you can
go?
always code everything you want right here in Stride Game Studio. So let's have a look at this
Wrong
script
editor.
that we
What am I-
just
what am I
created
looking
and
at?
has been generated for us. If we go back to our scene and we
behind
select
you?
an entity that is in our scene, and this could be any kind of entity really, especially for the
Okay,
sake
I
of
just
this
opened it
tutorial,
with,
it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to select the main camera that's been placed at the top corner of our little structure here. If we click on
Yeah, he clicked on the same. Let's create a new project. He's actually using a tutorial project, but I wanted to skip around a little bit more. But I don't know, I'm struggling with this engine for some reason. Let's just try and, not get ahead of ourselves and just maybe try and listen to this guy a little bit more, but I don't know. Uh, yeah, let's actually open up. Why not? Whatever. We'll open up the actual tutorial project. And we'll just chug our way through this. Maybe I should change the title to working on Stride. I feel like last time maybe I got up and working sooner. Okay, we haven't even been live for an hour. Never mind. I know we had some technical difficulties too, so that took less time on this. It just feels like it took long. It's taking longer because we're live. That's the only reason. Uh, bu- 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 Cool. Everything. I mean, the stream is going good now. We haven't had any issues since the
Add
beginning.
component in the property grid of our selected camera.
So, hold up. Okay, I do not have the same project as you. What is happening? What?
And we type in the name of either one of our we've got the series of the C# view itself. So by its open script, coded view, synchronous or sync script. So let's create a sync script first. I'm going to call this demo sync script. And as you can see, it's being created inside the asset view. And I'm going to directly add another script, which is called the startup script, which looks a lot like the sync script, but it's even smaller. It's got even less functionality. And we'll see about that in a second. So let's create that. Start demo script.
Okay.
And once that has been created, let's open it in the code editor of Stride Game Studio by double clicking on it. And as you can see, it's being opened inside Game Studio itself. It's not opened in an external IDE.
There we go.
And we can start
I don't know
coding right
what
there if we wanted to.
happened, but is so I do know that like when I was checking out this, I saw that one person that was building a game in this, they had to like remake their entire menu, like their in-game menu and whatnot. Okay, we can't actually open this, but they had to change it because there was no like full screen. So there's a lot of stuff that like doesn't come pre-built with Stride that like would with other engines. But I was just feeling like there's stuff that is in this tutorial project that like just doesn't exist elsewhere. But that'd be very weird. So I don't know why it would. I don't know what just happened, but we got our script in here, right? Where'd it go? Oh, I selected a wall. I didn't mean to select a wall. We got to get back to the project with the ball instead of having all this random stuff. But we'll get through this tutorial and then we'll work on an actual project, I guess. Okay, there we go. There's demo. I still have not fully decided if I like this engine, but I think I'm gonna have to try it for a while longer because I'm not hating it. There's nothing here that I'm hating. I'm just confusing myself, really. That's all. Which, I mean, that probably would happen regardless of engine, so that's not, an engine-specific issue. That's a me issue. It's not even really an issue. We've only been here for an hour.
But for the entire series of the C# beginner's course, we will be using Visual Studio as our main IDE. But just in case you don't want to, you can always code everything you want right here in Stride Game Studio. So let's have a look at this the script that we've just
See you
created
soon, homie.
has been
All right, sounds
generated
good.
for us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here, for
If
hanging
we
out, for
go back
lurking.
to our
Y'all are
scene
amazing.
and we
Thank you so much for
select
spending time
an
with Steve-O's stream
entity
today.
that is in
I
our
appreciate you
scene,
and
this could
everything
be
you
any
do.
kind of entity
I
really,
will see all of you
especially for
tomorrow.
the sake of this tutorial,
Alright,
it
y'all have a
doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to select
good
the
rest
main
your
camera that's been
night, day,
placed
evening,
at
morning,
the
wherever you
top
may be.
corner of
Hope it's a great one.
our
And
I got a
Structure
little distracted
here.
again.
If
Three,
we
two, right.
click on add component in the
Nishi,
property grid
absolutely.
of our selected
Okay, we're
camera,
back to where we were, so that's good.
and we type in the name of either one of our scripts.
I mean, attaching a
notice
script
how
to an
we have
object,
the
that-
script
that makes
One of the
sense.
appearing
homies
here
back
in the
on his,
list of components. So
Apex
let's
grind.
add
He said he would
demo
never play it
sync
anymore,
script
and he's been playing it like
and
every
as
day
well
now.
as the start script that we've
So-
made. And now they're being attached to this entity.
Oops,
And this
I-
is a really important
I gotta pay
concept
more
for the
attention.
Stride game engine. The Stride
sure
game
that-
engine is a component-based game engine. You don't have to use this if you don't want to, but this is pretty much the philosophy of this game engine. You have entities in your scene, and you attach one or more components to a single entity to get it to behave in a certain
He's a
way.
bit over explaining things, but I guess these tutorials also sort of function as a documentation, so yeah, I kind of get that.
Let's have a look at
in
that
a sense.
start demo script. So I'm just going to go back to that start demo script, and that means that if we would run our game right now, then as soon as our scene would be loaded, then this start method that we have here, this public void start method, it will be invoked.
Can I
And
open
that
this
is
from here?
actually
Maybe not.
the only thing that this script does.
Yeah.
If we would put any code in here, then that code would be executed only once, and that's all this script does. So this startup script is very useful in case you just want to initialize something, like the spawner of an enemy. Now let's have a look at that other script that we've made, the sync script. This script we're going to open inside
tough.
Visual Studio.
I think I'm just
We
gonna
can do this in various ways.
leave that over there.
And one of the ways we can do this is by clicking on the Open in IDE button,
cool.
which is what we're going to do
async
right
script.
now.
Game
So
is
this will
running.
Open Visual Studio
Yeah.
for me.
Fair enough.
And
Good thing to check.
I have Visual Studio Community Edition installed, which is the edition which you can download for free. And then, in my case, I have the Solution Explorer to the right. In your case, it might be to the left or at a completely different location. And I'm going to open the C# beginner tutorial, or the
I'm not gonna
name of
bother
our
during the
project,
tutorial
how we
project,
created it, followed by the .game. That's
with
where our
opening this up in
script
VS
is
Studio,
going
because I
to
haven't
reside.
downloaded that. Like I
Where-
said,
where we
new
created our
SSD,
two
so
scripts
a lot of things
And
that
you
I
can
would
see
normally
them
have
in our
just aren't
Solution
set up.
Explorer overview. And I'm going to select that demo sync script.
Actually, maybe I do have VS Studio.
So as
I
you
did
may
to
notice,
check.
if you look at this
I haven't
demo
really
sync
looked
script,
through.
it
I was
looks
not
a
the one that
lot
backed
like
this up.
the startup script.
No, I
The
know.
difference here is that it inherits from sync script instead of startup script. The start method is here as well, so far it's almost identical, but we get this bonus method which is called the update method. And this method, as the comment already kind of explains, it will be called every single time our game is going to be updated. So if we would run our game on a super fast computer and it would be running an empty scene with 2000 frames per second,
I thought.
then this update method would be called
What?
2000 times per second.
Oh, I made a mistake. I'm supposed to have it. This is not the script I'm supposed to have. Let's delete this. Last time it got mad at me when I tried to delete a script, but hopefully it'll work this time. We're supposed to have a sync script, not an ace. Okay. Cool. Let's do that. Okay, reload. And then get back over here. A lot of clicking. Okie dokie, where are we? This is the camera, right? No, we just click on this, and then it's add component. And then we can type in demo sync. That's a weird name, but I don't really know what project I'm working on because it's just a tutorial. Because I could just name things tutorial-y names. That would probably make sense. Here's our demo script. Okay, we still don't have... That's the startup script. Did we create another startup script? What did I just do? I'm supposed to get a... It doesn't look like it's opening. Let's just add a comment here. No, it's not opening. This is just the same file. Okay, let's close that. I'm sorry, what? Where are you opening that? I know I just closed it, but I would expect you to open it up at the same spot. Asset view is all we have here. We have editor. Editor. Not the one we need though. If we go over to camera. Okay, what? Camera. There we go. Where are you opening that? I'm sorry, what? It's like affecting the camera here for like no apparent reason. Let me just try and pop this out or something. Where do I even do that? Where do I even do that? I shouldn't have closed that, but I should be able to just open this back up. Solution Explorer and open that. Same place, okay. Asset view. References, we can leave that closed for now. Asset preview. Edit history, okay. Asset errors, I guess that's fine. There's our output. Asset view. Hold up. I think I see what's happening here. No, I don't see what's happening here. And for some reason we can't pop this out. So, why are these not treated? Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. Why are these not treated as like windows? We can't adjust these specific things. Can you see chat? Yeah, I can see chat. How's it going? I can't see my scripts for some reason. Help. Question errors. Project edit. What if we reload project? What happens then? Maybe it resets all my stuff. See, that's the one issue with like this is a bit more of an obscure. I mean, I saw YouTube videos talking about it, so it didn't seem that obscure, but also, you know, it wasn't one of the big ones, so we're kind of in the dark here just a little bit. Asset view. That's not the one I wanted. I want property grid, right? No, that's not it either. No. Solution Explorer. That's what it is. That was the one I was looking for. Okay, so you guys opened up in the same little thing, but that's fine, I guess. I'd rather the asset view be here and you be there. So code. Okay, our assets are here. We're in tutorial. That's the little folder I made. I don't know what just happened, but reloading it fixed the whole thing. So here's our scripts. So those aren't, it's not a window. which is confusing because we can pop these out. Can we pop out the main scene? We can. And those don't come with it, which is interesting. I want to add that. Yeah. Now I can't see the main scene. What is going on? I'm sorry, what is happening? Let's reload this again. I'm gonna keep doing this. Like I said, we're pretty much on our own with this engine. There was a little tutorial series that I was looking at. That's all we really got. You know, the thing is with Unreal, this was like a tiny download. Unreal was like 21 gigabytes. I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe eventually we'll need some of that stuff, but it just feels like I wanted something more lightweight for this particular project because it's supposed to be a smaller project anyways. It's not a huge thing. Okay. There we go. You know what? If we ever start questioning things, I'm sorry, what? What do you mean it's crashed? What? It's right there. Did it think? No, it did crash. Interesting. Oh, I don't think I finished the download for Unreal anyways. I never restarted that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start that download again. I think Unreal is C++ based. No, this is an old channel. And I did private bunch of stuff temporarily. But this channel's been around for a while. I think I ran it for like something like, I think it was like 5 years. And then the last like 2.5, I haven't done anything with it. But we are sort of restarting that. I actually did leave a video on that's like 8 years old or something. A singular video I left public. The rest of it for the moment is unlisted. So yeah. But yeah, this little engine that I am trying out, definitely I'm getting some trouble with it. It might just be my fault. Like it very there's very little for me to sort of distinguish that this isn't just user error. So there's that. I think just as possibly it is my fault that things are breaking. Although I don't know why it just crashed. That to me is a strange one. I really don't like the order. Can I just close this and then will you? Yeah, there we go. Okay. We have this back. How's our camera doing? This is what we were doing with the tutorial. I don't know why we have some errors there, but hey, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. Is my mic, how's my mic going? You guys can still hear chromes. This is gonna be a little weird, but anyways, we'll let it be. I don't know why we have some errors there, but hey, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. Is my mic, how's my mic going? You guys can still hear chromes. This is gonna be a little weird, but anyways, we'll let it be. Yeah, no, it is like a totally free open source project and whatnot. Um, I'm not sure if I don't know what to think about it yet though. I haven't really used it long enough to figure that out. I think I've used it for under an hour at this point, so I mean, if you like Godot, and a lot of people like Godot. Eh. I didn't like how 3D Project looks for Godot, and I would kind of, at least for this project, it definitely is 3D. So there's that. But yeah, it is free. I don't think there are any like subscription things you could pay if you wanted to. It's just open source and it's a free project. I just don't know very much about it yet, so a little early to be recommending it. Hey Nebula, how's it going? We got a lot of people stopping in the stream actually so far. We had a lot of technical difficulties early on, but we're working on a game now. We're about an hour in. We've gotten through 11 minutes of this tutorial. Well done. Let's go.
Now let's start adding some code to our script so that it
But yeah,
actually
if
does
you
something.
like what you see with the engine,
One of
it
the
is free
first things
download,
that
so.
you will learn
It's going
is
good here.
how to log information to the console that launches at the same time.
That's good.
as
That's
your
good
game.
to you.
We can do so by saying log.debug and then putting some text between the parentheses.
Oh, let's do that.
By default,
Yeah,
the
that's a good
debug
idea.
level will not be displayed in the console because we have to
Startup script.
set the activity
Are
or
you
the
messing with the startup
severity
script?
level.
No, he's messing
of
with
our
the other
log.
script.
However, we
Um,
can display warnings right off the bat. Debug text will appear in light gray if you set the activity level to verbose
Log.warning?
or all kinds
Okay.
of activities. Warnings will be printed out in yellow.
Hello.
Now that we've written our first code, let's build and run our game. We can do this
We'll do, yeah, hello world. Okay. What's this all about? You have Twitch account? Yeah, I am, at some point I might try and multi-stream. At the beginning of the stream we were trying that, but it wasn't really going very well. That's all there is to it. So we're giving up on that for the moment, but we'll probably try it again later. Yeah, you're right, guys. This is, yeah, literally right now what we're doing is watching tutorials. We're gonna be working on a space game where you're in space. That's very descriptive, I know. But this is a brand new engine to me. Been working in it for less than an hour. So I think before we can actually, we're gonna have to watch a couple of tutorials probably.
directly from Visual Studio, or we can hop on over back to Stride Game Studio and launch the game from there. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to start it directly from Visual Studio. As you can see, our game has started.
What did you just do? Oh, he switched over to I didn't even notice. What?
And if we move that window to the right just a little bit, notice how we have this console in the background.
Welcome to
Now,
Tutorial
as said,
Simulator.
the debug
It's
level
amazing.
is not shown by default because
I actually think what engine do I normally use? Man, it has been a while. I don't think I feel like the last engine I used wasn't an actual engine. Like I've done a little bit in Unity and Unreal. I've done more in Unreal, but that was a while ago. I feel like most of the stuff I've done is just in other games, though. If I'm gonna be real with you. Uh, like just using other games basically as your engine. I don't really know. We'll figure this out.
We haven't set the severity.
Why? Do you
level
guys
for
have a
this
preferred
particular
engine?
Script. However, all warnings and higher level severity logs will be printed out to the console. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to start it directly from Visual Studio. For our game, we can do this directly from Visual Studio, or we can hop on over back to Stride Game Studio and launch the game from there. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to start it directly from Visual Studio. So as you can see, our game has started.
How do you... What? I'm confused. So you just started in Visual Studio, which I was skipping that for now because I actually have nothing installed in this new SSD. What engine do you normally use? Yes, no. Yeah, I think with the delay, I'm not always completely sure what you guys are talking about. But hey, well, if I just do this, nothing. See, he just launched it from Visual Studio, which
And if
I'm
we
not.
move that window to the right just a little bit, notice how we have this console in the background. Now, as
Is there
said,
just
the
a run?
debug level is not shown by default because we haven't set the severity level for this particular script. However, all warnings and higher level severity logs will be printed out to the console. Every time we do this,
my fault for
the
skipping
name of our
steps,
script is
but hey.
printed to the console,
Try to
followed
figure
by
this
the
out.
severity level. Let's first add a little line to the update method of our script and add a little information. And in order for us to set a breakpoint, which is used to stop our program.
So the
I'm
debug isn't
just going to
displayed
use
on,
the
by a
F9
default, which is
shortcut, or we
a
can
decision,
click on the
I guess.
sideline here to set a breakpoint in our script. Now, if we would run our game directly from Visual Studio, which
Oh,
will
sorry, we're in
happen
C,
a
we're
lot
in
if
C
you do a lot
sharp
of
right now. Why am I
programming,
not?
then we will always trigger these breakpoints.
What was the last
if
language I'm
the
coding
update
in?
Script is being
What? What is this? I felt like the last language I was coding in was C sharp. So why did I just not write semicolons? What? I'm so confused. Maybe I just forgot them. But I feel like when I forget semicolons, it's because I'm writing in a language that doesn't have them. So, be right back. I'll see you in a second. I'm just so confused why I forgot this. Did I type law? Hello. The name log does not exist in the current context. What am I doing? It's case sensitive. For real though, what was the last language I was coding in? Why am I... I thought it was C sharp. Oh, here we go. It launched on the other screen, which is strange. But... Hey, there we go. Here's our little console thing. What's the game called? If you're talking about the engine, this is Stride, but I think you already mentioned that. Talking about the name of the game that I'm making. I definitely have not thought about the branding yet. I mean, it's I mean, I didn't even know what engine I'm making it in yet. I might be making it in Stride, or we might switch over to a different engine. So you're actually legitimately getting me at like the very beginning of this project. Like you're here on day 0. I'd say it's day 1, but that depends on how much we get done. If it's all tutorials today, then it's day 0. I think we'll get into the actual project today. But it's just like a little exploration, like there's a lost ship in space, go find them. And then rather than like controlling the ship with like I don't know, like a lot of ships in video games are like planes. Except not planes. I don't know how to describe it. Like how people expect games to be in video games, I guess. Which is like a double layer thing, because that's also not how jets are flown, but you know.
Being invoked. However, it is also possible that we run our game directly from Stride Game Studio. In that case, we have to do it a little bit different. But let's first start the game directly from Visual Studio. As soon as the game has launched, notice how we're triggering this yellow breakpoint in our script. So our game has been halted, and we can see any variables, any values that have been set. Now let's do the exact same thing, but this time directly from Stride Game Studio. All we
He literally
have to do is go changes, and so and that's because Visual Studio hasn't started the project. Visual Studio, we have to then going to attach to process, which by default has the Ctrl-Alt-P shortcut, and then we get a list of applications that are currently running. So if we would type in Stride, we will get the Stride application.
Okay, I skipped something.
Then going
missed something.
Studio has. But we can still attach.
Is
our
the project
Visual
a small
Studio
one
code
or a big
directly
game?
to the ongoing process that.
I mean, like the scope of the game that I'm working on, I feel like it's just gonna be a single mission thing, right? Like it's like basically a demo, but I wanna like finish the demo by like January like 9th or something, which is like 2 weeks from now. Well, I guess we wouldn't have a full working demo, like something playable by then, because there's a on the 12th, which is like 3 weeks from now. There's a game jam that I want to do, so there's that. So this project will be on hiatus for like 2 weeks, and then we'll probably come back to this. But who knows? Maybe the game jam project that I do will end up being the more interesting one, and then I decide to work on that instead. But I think, you know, that's kind of the idea right now. We'll work on this for like 2 weeks until the game jam is about to start, and then I'll do the game jam, which lasts 2 weeks, and then we'll get back to whatever project we're doing after that. But yeah, no, I feel like it is sort of one where it definitely could make it a bigger game if I wanted to. It is big in the literal sense because it's space. I mean, like the map is enormous technically. If you're traveling like 2 million meters per second, then it's a lot bigger than GTA. It's just empty space. But, you know, technically, right, it's like a massive map. We just figured out the pro strat people here. Let's go. Amazing stuff.
All we have to do is go
just set your game in space. And it's automatically massive.
Then
the map is huge.
Process,
Doesn't matter if there's no content there because it's space.
Shortcut. And then we get a list of applications that are currently running.
No, but the actual the actual playing space is like this little box that you're in right here. That'd be about the playable space in there, in your actual ship, because you know, well, the movable space. I guess your ship is moving through space. I'm using that same word a lot. Whatever.
So if we would type in Stride, we will get the Stride application back to Visual Studio.
I still don't know what he's trying to do.
Debug, then going to attach to process. Which
he's just setting up Visual Studio, which I'll come back to later.
Default that are currently running is running X, which is once we've found that, we can either double click or select it and click on attach. And as soon as we do that, our Visual Studio project has been attached to.
Okay, I'm not doing Visual Studio right now. That's the entire tutorial. I mean, I get, okay. It took me way too long to watch that tutorial.
Hi, and welcome
Let's
back
breeze
to
through the rest of them.
C# beginner tutorial series for the Stride game engine.
Let's close
In this
this.
tutorial, we learn how to get the entity that a script is attached to in our scene. We also learn how to retrieve the parent, the names of the entities, and how to print the names of those entities onto the screen. For this tutorial, I've loaded in the Getting the Entity subscene. As you can see, I have two child entities here inside this scene. One is called I am the parent, which is this
Okay.
left object here, and that has a child, which is this smaller entity to the right.
Did we just like jump? Are you showing the end of the tutorial here? What's going on?
What we're going to do is we're going to write a little script, and we're going to attach that to this child entity.
I'm sorry,
We're going to
what?
fetch the name of that child and display its name.
What? That... I'm not crazy. The thing he's pointing at isn't in this tutorial project.
Underneath. Then we're going to look for a parent object, which in this case exists, and hi, and welcome back to the C# beginner tutorial series for the Stride game engine. In this tutorial, we learn how to get the entity that a script is attached to in our scene. We also learn how to retrieve the parent, the names of the entities, and how to print the names of those entities onto the screen.
Oh, I see. These are different parts of the...
For this
Okay.
tutorial, I've loaded in the Getting the Entity subscene.
There it is. That's what we wanted. Oh, how did we load this, though? I feel like he skipped a step, because he already loaded this. And I feel like in a new engine, I'm basically starting from scratch. Eventually, we'll just be into the actual coding, and that's when things will start to like breeze a little bit. Because then, there you go. Set as active scene. Is that what we do? Probably. No. But yeah, I think things will definitely be a bit more of a breeze when we get to that point. Right now, it's just figuring out this engine. What are you saying? I don't know what this exception is. Yeah, I don't think that was the right thing. I don't think that was what you wanted me to do. Oh, yeah, are those right over there? Is that the... Oh, there it is. Okay, for him, it's in the middle of the whole thing. But this is the object that we're messing with, so...
As you can see, I have two.
No, it's
child
not. That's a
entities
different
here
object.
inside the
I'm looking at this over here. Yeah, why'd this guy skip a step? Now, see, part of the issue is, like, these tutorials are, like, the only documentation that we have for this engine, pretty much.
this scene.
So I don't know
One
what
is
he's doing
called
skipping
I am the
steps.
parent, which is this left object here. Entities onto the screen. For this tutorial, I've loaded in the Getting the Entity subscene. As you
So it's a subscene, is what it is. So that makes sense. I like that structure, right? These little subscenes. There's a lot of different ways you could use that. The folder structure and everything, like, that makes sense to me. This engine is just losing me somewhere. There we go. There's literally just a load entities button. Amazing. What am I'm missing like super stuff that should be like super obvious. I just didn't look. I didn't check what that button was. Making too many assumptions here. We gotta get output down here, and then what will I not need? I'd actually. I'm just gonna assume that I won't need when I'm outputting, I'm going to assume that I won't need asset view. Could be wrong. I don't fully love the way the camera movement works. But, oh, there we go. That's better. Just hold down right mouse button and it works just the way I want it to. There we go. Cool. All right.
You can see I have two child entities here inside this scene. One is called I am the parent, which is this left object here, and that
Cool.
has a child, which is this
I
smaller
like the way-
entity to the right. What we're going to do is we're going to write a little script, and we're going to attach that to this child entity. We're going to fetch the name of that child and display its name underneath. Then we're going to look for a parent object, which in this case exists, and we're then going to display that name on the screen as well. Let's hop on over to Visual Studio. I've prepared a little
Weird thing
script.
is, like, I would think you would want to do a tutorial where you're actually making a game instead of a tutorial where you're just like going through the features. But I feel like that might just be the reality of the fact that this is their documentation. I mean, there's some other stuff in the documentation, but like most of it is literally just this. I gotta change my default browser. That link is bad, but I mean, there's a little manual here, which is pretty short. There's some stuff here, which is useful probably, but, and then it's the tutorial. So, yeah. That's about what we got.
That is called Getting the Entity Demo.
I gotta make sure the chat's still working. What is this?
Let's first declare two variables
You never
that are
know.
going to store
Stuff
the
breaks
name of
all
the
the
current
time.
entity that this script is attached to and the parent entity.
So wait, which of these did you attach the script to? I'm
Name on the screen as well.
missing stuff.
Let's hop on over to Visual Studio to display that name on the screen as well. And we're then going to display that name on the screen as well. Let's hop on over to Visual Studio.
Huh?
I've prepared a little script that is called Getting the Entity Demo. Let's first declare two variables that are going to store the name of the current entity.
So at least it's not like repeating steps, although I kind of feel like, I really love the open format tutorials where it's like they don't have a plan. Obviously, they had this whole thing set up, so they had a plan beforehand. But I really love tutorials where they're just like doing the thing and explaining it as they go, which is harder. If we're gonna be fair to everyone, it's harder to do it that way. But also, it's not for everyone, because then you would just have like hour-long tutorials instead of like quick, succinct things. So, makes more sense for them to do it this way. I'm talking about just my preference of things, Right, asset view. Remember this. We're gonna just create a. It's kind of weird to me to think of assets or scripts as assets, but that is what they are in this. I think we need an async script. No, we need a sync script. That makes more sense. Getting object. What abbreviation is that from? I can't even remember. I have not
That this script
worked
is
on any
attached to,
projects in a
and the
while.
parent entity.
What are you doing?
By default, we're going to say string empty.
So you're just creating an empty
Then we're
string?
going to create a second
Okay.
variable called parent name. Let's use the proper wording there. And now let's see how we can get the entity that this script is going to be attached to. Well, we can use the entity
Sorry, what am I doing?
property for that.
I'm going to do that out of
First, we're
scope.
going to say name is followed by entity, followed by a dot, and followed by the name property. So every sync script, as well as an async script, has this entity property available in the script, which means that we can always address it. And it contains a lot of useful methods as well as properties like this name.
I can't type.
Now let's retrieve the parent entity and store it in a separate variable.
Oh! Duh. I was like, what are you doing? I figured it out. It's just setting that string to the entity.name.
Again, we can say entity, and this time we
Sorry,
use the getParent
Just
method.
call these the same thing.
Let's pop up the IntelliSense with Ctrl-Shift-Space, and then we can see what this method does. It returns the parent of this entity,
Oh, okay.
but it can also return null if there is no parent. So in our case, we know that there is a parent.
Dot.
However, it's very common practice, or it's a good practice, to always check if an entity exists, yes or not.
If
So what we're going to do is if
parent
parent
is not equal,
null,
no. Yeah.
followed by the accolades, then we're going to say parent name
Is that what those are called?
is
Accolades?
parent dot
I've never
name.
heard them called that. I just call them brackets.
Now that we've retrieved the names, we can print them to the screen.
I don't know why you didn't do that.
We can do this by using
Did I break something? No, if parent. The names, the space there is fine. Doesn't equal null. Oh, we haven't written anything here yet, but that's fine. It's doing a lot of highlighting. Yeah, I need to get over in Visual Studio. At some point, I will do that. But, I guess I'm being a bit stubborn. Obviously, I'm going to make the actual project in Visual Studio, so there's just zero reason not to do the tutorial in Visual Studio. But again, I'm just being stubborn. Parent name, I did not call it that same thing. It is, he was doing, though he did camel case. I don't know why I wrote it like that. I thought I was copying him, like, why'd you do this? But he didn't even do it. So my question was invalid the entire time.
debug text dot.
So on the update, okay, so on the, he's putting this on, in the update. Debug text.
Print, and then we have to provide some parameters here. So let's have a look at them. There are two options of parameters here, and the first one is the one that we're going to use. The first parameter is the message, which in our case, at first, is the parent name, because that was the object on the left. Next up is the position, or the coordinates that we're going to draw the text on. This is an integer 2. And as you can see, it resides in the stride.core.mathematics namespace. So what we can do is we can type new int 2. And once we do this, if we would press enter
New int
now,
2.
let's do that, then it will fill in that entire namespace into our line. And you don't always want that, because we're going to repeat this entire debug text print line. We're going to repeat that. So instead of using that entire namespace over there,
I'm sorry,
I can just
I'm not
use
in
the-
Visual Studio. It was like, you don't need to. The tutorial, you could follow. And then he's like, I mean, he's just explicitly using Visual Studio the entire time. So it's just like, hey, just download Visual Studio. What was it? It was like debug.warning or something. I'm just do debug.warning since that prints out. And then we'll do here's what we're gonna do. Let's do a little abbreviation here. Gotta get a space in there. And then just do colon maybe. And then yeah, you know what? We'll just do the location. We're not gonna even. What are you printing? Coordinates? Yeah.
shortcut key, control dot, and now the IntelliSense is going to do using stride.core.mathmatic script x and 580. And now let's draw the second name, or the 580. And you can see .mat. Now the entire namespace
Wait,
text
what?
print line, we're going to repeat that. So instead of using that entire namespace over there, I can just use the shortcut key Control dot, and now the IntelliSense pops up a little suggestion saying using stride.core.mathematics, which we're going to do. And if we scroll up to our file, we see that it's now using
Stride.core.mathematics? It already is.
stride.core.mathematics.
It
And
already
you can
was.
see that the integer2 data type is now included into our script.
Okay.
Let's open the parentheses for this integer2 and provide an x and a y value. Now I know that this value needs to be drawn at 580, 580. And now let's draw the second name, or the name of our actual child, of our actual entity that we are attached to the screen.
Sorry, I am doing an entirely different
Now
thing
that
than
we've
what
done
he's
so,
doing. I
we
did
can
not
build our
understand what
script
we were trying to
directly in
do.
the editor
Hold up.
using Ctrl-Shift-B.
Parent
And
name.
if we go back to Stride,
I don't love
will
their
tell us
function
that
names.
some code
Ugh.
our script directly in the editor using Ctrl actual entity that we are attached to, name or the name.
Debug text.print. Sorry, what? Debug text.print. Parent name, got that wrong. Int2. Oh, sorry, new int2. That makes more sense. And then this. Doesn't look like it's quite doing the thing it's supposed to. Oh, you're in VS. Of course, we're not getting syntax highlighting because you're in Yeah, you're expected to be using Visual Studio, so I don't know. I should just download it. Let's just we'll do that real quick. It's just a little bit too confusing to be following along. I mean, new SSD is great, but you do gotta reinstall a bunch of stuff. Well, I'm gonna let this download. It's 90 megabytes. If that takes a long time, it'd be really annoying. I'll be back in 1 second. All right. Let's well, I guess we'll brute force our way through it until that's done, because apparently it's probably just because we're streaming. 90 megabytes should be really fast. That's what you get, I guess.
Name of our actual child, of our actual entity that we are attached to the screen. Now that we've done so, we can build our script directly in the editor using Ctrl-Shift-B.
It's just
And if we go back to Stride, it will tell us that some
No.
code has been modified.
What are you doing?
Assemblies have been
Also, I
modified,
copied that
and we
before
want
the
to
semicolon.
reload. In my case, I'm going to say don't ask this again.
Ugh. I'm trying really hard
Would
not to
run
type
our scene right
semicolons
now,
for some reason.
Nothing would happen because we haven't attached our script to this child entity just yet. So make sure you've selected the our script direct back to.
No idea if this is gonna give me problems or it just crashed again. Okay. Uh huh. Oh, you know what? I have the other installation running too. Um, and it is running really slow. So, 40% done. Let's maybe pause that just so the other one can run a little quicker. Shouldn't have to do that actually, but that's where we are. Um, hmm. There is a forum. That's one thing that does exist. I guess we'll if we decided to, I want to give this more of a chance than what I have, but it's crashed on me twice. I haven't even done anything yet. Also, like, there's just not enough conversation here. It's like, this feels invisible. Oh, come on. What are you doing? Also, it decided every time. What is happening? Where's our. I don't like how it. Oh no, we're way back here. The last time we closed it. Uh. So I'm guessing that's gonna mean if we go over here, Visual Studio did finish downloading, so we'll start the setup. Cause why not? I can't believe I forgot Visual Studio is VS Code. Like, my brain is not operating at 100% right now. Not the asset preview. That's not what we need. Isn't it the Solution Explorer? No, it is the asset preview. What? Okay, this is just me, like, my brain not operating right now. For this part definitely is. Oh, I did not mean to close that. Actually, that's what I wanted open. Property grid. Not the property grid. Not those. Not the asset preview. Not this either. What am I? What's the name of the thing? It's not here. Oh, it's here. These are attached. That makes sense, I guess. Yeah, so it did reset. I didn't save any of that, but that should be fine, I guess. I don't know. It keeps crashing. It's like this Premiere Pro. I didn't know this was made by Adobe. It's not, by the way. It's just a joke. Okay. There we go. It loads quick. That's cool. We just create. We're here in tutorial. Wait, this is already here? And so is the code we just wrote. Alright, so it crashed, but apparently it's saved before crashing? Yeah, okay. That, guess that's convenient. Oh wait, setup's already started. I was about to start it again. Accept this agreement. Okay, cool.
To Stride, it will tell us that some code has been modified, assemblies have been modified, and that we want to reload. In my case, I'm going to say don't ask this again. If we would run our scene right now, nothing would happen because we haven't attached our script to this child entity just yet.
That is
so
correct.
make sure you've selected the I am the child object in your scene. Click
So
on
we're
the
writing
add
it from this
component and start
perspective.
typing the name of the component.
Oh, what are you doing?
Now that we've attached it, press Ctrl S to save and click on the Run button. This, in case the code hasn't been built yet, will start the building process and then it will start the game. Now that the game has loaded, let's select the first level, getting the entity. And as you can see now, the name I am
I
the
would
parent
think
is
that
displayed underneath
with
the
crashing,
parent
it would have
object,
reloaded
and
it.
I am the child is displayed beneath the child object. Now, if we would have been running this game in release mode instead of debug mode,
Confused.
this text would not have been
I
printed
am
to the screen.
confused. But hey, Visual Studio finished loading.
That means that if we would set this option here, in
Man, it
Visual
feels so
Studio
weird
to
having no
release,
projects
we
in
would
Visual
not
Code.
see this text. You
Oh.
can still build the game, but it just wouldn't be visible.
That feels crazy, having no projects in there.
In the next tutorial, we'll learn how to retrieve children.
We'll
from the
change
current
that soon
entity.
enough. Don't worry about it.
And one last time, I want to point out that all the tutorials that we're going through, you can find these online at doc.stride3d.net. You can go to the documentation, then to the tutorials, and here you can find, in this case, the C# beginners course. You can select all the tutorials individually. You can read about it.
Can I
in
see
a
the other
brief
ones?
description, and then you can find the entire
It's
code.
doing this again.
This
I
is
don't
the
understand
same
what is
code
happening.
as the actual C# template that you can select from the Stride game launcher. This code contains a lot of comments to help you along with the coding process, and it provides you with some additional information on
What? What is happening? Yeah, I've seen that error with all of them, but it's sort of working anyways. But yeah, it's not showing up, which is interesting. What happens if I go here? This isn't the one that we're supposed to be attaching it to, but does it show up? Do the others show up? No. No class inherited from entity component found in tutorial. What? Well, I want to create the inheritance. Or something. I don't know. I don't fully understand this entire system, so I'm definitely not going to understand the errors. I feel like that, does that mean that it would be possible? Like, what if we try the camera? Wait, you had scripts attached. What happened? Huh? I'm sorry, what? If I run this, what happens in the output? Where? First of all, where is the output? Oh, there it is. It popped up on its own. What? So it ran that script. What? Um, this is a great. Now it's not even jumping there. It's like I tried Godot, but it didn't really. I didn't really like what it looked like for 3D, which is what we're doing for this project. I don't think this project would work in 2D. Maybe the next one would, but I guess I could do the next one in Godot. I mean, that's probably the best way to figure out which engine you like would be to make a game in a bunch of them. Even though that would be a long process, but hey, I feel like it would be effective. I was looking at the other camera. Sorry, that was the wrong camera. I should be looking in this one. Here in camera. Unable to load this object. Why are you unable to load? Unable to load this object of type. Oh, it's the demo script. Okay. Why are you unable to load the script? Not screwed. Stride. Can't even spell stuff. Man, what is happening? Okay, at least I found on the forum someone had the same issue. Of course, this was in August of 2015. So if it actually is the same issue, I hope it's my fault. If it's the engine, I feel like that's been in there for a while. Also, the engine has been around longer than I thought. This is 4.20 or whatever. I don't. Yeah. 2043. Yeah. This is. Yeah. It is definitely a public script. Right? Their default's public. Well, it was working before. So, I don't see why the issue would be the script. Oh, maybe if I try and change something. It's broken, which is more accurate. And then save that. And now you're going to reload. And if you reload... I mean, if I just got to force a reload a bunch, that's not the worst thing in the world. Let's try the camera. Let's reload this project again. Let's check our Unreal installate. Yeah, that's gonna be a while. 11 of 19 gigabytes. It's gonna be a little while. It is downloading pretty slow too. So well, if it's a smaller issue, I haven't done anything yet. I wouldn't. I shouldn't be able to break the engine though. I was gonna say, like, if my code was broken, I wouldn't even bat an eye. I would just go and fix the code, but I just don't even know what's going on. Wrong camera? No, it's not. That's not the wrong camera. That is the right camera. What? This is still here, which means it's saved. But the camera doesn't have our scripts. Oh, it does. You just have to scroll down. I think what I'm gonna do, let's just like look up a tutorial in Unreal, see how that feels from the tutorial, because the download's still gonna take a while, and then I might bench Stride for a while, because I don't mind having problems that I had to. I mean, that's half of coding is just figuring out what is going wrong. But in this case, I don't even know how to look. I don't even know where to look. I mean, Unreal is a massive engine. I would imagine pretty easy to find a lot of support, a lot of tutorials, a lot of troubleshooting other people did. But mm, all right, we're gonna bail on this just a little bit. So I think. Yeah, Unreal is C++, which I have not spent any time in, but that'd be okay. Um, You're like this. Here's a
Hello
really
everyone,
basic
and welcome
Unreal
to this
tutorial.
Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to build a super simple first-person character movement system, which can be used as a perfect base for any of your projects. You can call this whatever you want. I'm just going to call this character movement tutorial. So now, go to File, New Level, Basic, and Create, and save this under Map General.
Okay.
And we're just going to use this as our testing level. So once we've done that, we can go to folder and create a blueprints folder. And inside the blueprints folder, we're going to create 2 blueprints. The first one is the BP_FPS character.
This is more of what I was
And the second
expecting.
one
Like, it's actually a
is
blank
the
project.
game
But I
mode.
know I clicked in the tutorial project, but I usually don't like stuff like that.
We can open up the game mode and set the default pawn class to the character that we just created. Now this will allow us to possess this character through the player start. Obviously, if we have
See, I like
the
this. This
game
guy
mode
is going a
selected
lot faster,
inside
which
of
I
our
actually
level.
like. I mean,
So
I'd
now
have to
that our
slow down,
level is using this
actually.
game mode,
So,
when we press play, we are possessing this character.
yeah, we can't move.
Okay, so now, before we jump into the character, go to input, and we're going to create an action mapping, and this one's going to be called jump,
Cool.
and we can set it to the space bar. Now we're going to create 4 axis
That's
mappings,
fast.
so just click
Whoa.
this 4 times, and the first one's going to be called move forward.
Huh.
Then the next one is move right,
Is it just gonna... Is that just it?
then we have turn, and then we have look up. Okay, so now for move forward and move right, we're going to need 2 keys. And under move forward, we can set the first one to W and the second one to S. And make sure that the scale for S is set to
Oh,
-1.
okay. That's simple.
And then for move right, we can have D and A. And make sure that the scale for A is set to -1. Okay, so for turn, we're going to use the mouse X. And then for look up, we're going to use the mouse Y. And make sure that the scale for mouse Y is set to -1. This just prevents the camera from being inverted through the add pitch input under the character class. Once we're inside of our character, we can add 2 components. The first one is the spring arm component, And the second one is the camera component. There we go.
This
Now,
guy really
for the
is
screen arm
going quick.
component, set the Z position to 50.
I'm gonna skip ahead though.
Event. You see
I don't usually love stuff like this. The like node editors.
we can move our camera left
But
and right and up and down.
I
We
can
don't
get
have any
used to it.
movement input yet. So let's
Definitely can.
movement direction
Maybe I don't like it. I have no idea.
move
We'll
forward.
see.
So we'll direct. Once again, plug in the axis value to the scale value, and now we have our movement. Now there's one last thing to do, which is the jump function all set up. So as you can see, we can move forward, back, right, and left, and look around in every direction, and you can also jump. Now, in order to tweak the values of your character movement, there's the character movement component. Once again, this is built in, and they provided you with all of these variables that you can change. I'll tell you what you can mainly focus on. So if I place a box on the ground and I zero its location. Okay, here we go.
There's some things
If
I'm
I place
liking
the
here, some
box
things that I'm not.
right here. The 5 centimeters off the ground, you can see that I can no longer step on it. But if I change the value to, let's say, 150 as the max step height, then you can see that I can step over if you want to build a more compact. So yeah,
The results
pretty
are,
much,
are
like-
there. That's basically what I wanted to do, was just this. Just get a character in the world and do some stuff, so then we can just start coding. Although, being in C++, I would have to learn a new language, but it wouldn't be so bad. Well, we got VS Code downloaded, so that'll help. Why are, like, when I'm pinning stuff, I don't understand what is happening. Okay, and eventually it fixes itself, but when I'm pinning stuff, it's like, okay, that time it didn't happen, but sometimes, like, the icon just disappears. Like, what is happening? Okay, well, that's about it for today. We'll be back when I probably switch Unreal.